Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So, today is July 21st. I'm bringing you this from my desk. We are getting ready to head out tomorrow for the Green Intelligence and Clarity Retreat. So, last minute planning, logistics, etc., is in the work. The retreat is actually on July 23rd and 24th. Tomorrow, and the first part of third is the Mysore Big Tech Show that we are also part of. So looking forward to that. Let's get back to now and today's dose of Rashmi. So today's dose of Rashmi is a logical intellect-led organization is focused on outcomes, objectives, and key results. An integrated intelligence organization, on the other hand, creates the environment for the team to be fully present in the now and perform aligned action towards what they truly care for. As per my usual practice, this dose of Rashmi also came from a Sadhguru quote in the Miracle of Mind app this morning. The quote was about surrender. And surrender is something that over the last 2 or 3 years, it has constantly come up through my journey. I've had the opportunity to have some teachers share the power of surrender with me, as well as Michael Singer's book, The Surrender Experiment, has been a huge influence. And most people think of surrender as a passive act. However, as Sadhguru also said in the quote this morning, surrender is not really in action. Surrender is something you become. And for me, it took some time to grasp that fully, and it's still work in progress. It's still a constant practice that I work towards it. However, as I reflect on my journey, and I grew up in a small university town in India, had great environment, which helped me just get into that university. It is one of the premier institutes in India. And then subsequent to that, I worked in India for 2 years in an early stage telecommunications initiative that the government of India had started back then. Then I came to the US to do my master's in Motorola, ended up in a career in product and switched to a startup. The startup was very successful, got acquired by Cisco. Eventually, I ended up leading product line for a fairly large business in Cisco. When anybody looks at that career, assume that it has a result of very careful planning and a very well thought out plan. As I reflect on that career, one constant theme, without me really practicing it very consciously through all of those stages, was surrender. I just did what naturally emerged as the aligned action in the present moment, and things kept happening. And I am really blessed to have had such a successful career. The only time I got hyper focused and obsessed about outcomes was when, now leading this product line in Cisco, we experienced what's called the innovator's dilemma. We were the big gorilla in town, and now we are getting disrupted by other innovators. At that point, as the leader of the product and taking advice from brilliant people around me, around all the great strategy frameworks, business frameworks, the attention moved towards the competitors completely. And I became hyper-focused on navigating this innovator's dilemma and coming out through this transition while still retaining the market lead and the position that we were in. We were not successful in doing that. However, that period gave me great lessons, and I'm really, really fortunate to have been through that period. At the same time, it was a period of extreme stress. And while navigating that innovator's dilemma, I had this deeper feeling, my intuition, which would always keep going back to that, all these frameworks and everything, the standard playbooks are great, but there is something bigger, something that can truly help us navigate it if we just follow our intuitions collectively. However, being in a very logical minded oriented setup and surrounded by amazing people who had fairly valuable insights, which generally helped me learn a lot. We stayed the course where the logical intellect dominates. And eventually, as I left Cisco and started my own practice, thanks to all these experiences, I ended up launching Ventures Inc. And around this time, I came across some other amazing thought leaders, as well as the books that I have mentioned. And I've mentioned my personal journey around how I further turned inwards, and how the universe gave me a few different external triggers to turn my attention inwards. Through all that, I ended up launching Ventures Inc. with the mantra business is nothing but team sport. And then the tech world that I was busy advising and people building products and innovating, the attention focused there around AI. And as I look around at my peers, everybody is right now going through their own version of innovator's dilemma because of the speed at which technology is evolving and everything is happening with AI. Whatever we used to be experts in is becoming irrelevant at a rate that is faster than at any time it has been through the various technology cycles. So whether you are an individual, whether you are an organization, you're going through innovator's dilemma at a rate that hasn't been experienced before. And that is driving a lot of stress and anxiety individually as well as at an organization level. And this is where, through my practices and the causality inversion that I keep referencing in this series, I think I finally arrived at a language around what I was feeling and what I was sensing when we were navigating the innovator's dilemma in a predominantly logical intellect led organization. That is what I call integrated intelligence organization. And now, through various initiatives, whether it is through the Rashmi Mirror or through the enterprise mirror and the RASHMI.ai as a blueprint for the integrated intelligence organization, and through seeds, which is a blueprint for an integrated intelligence ecosystem, I can see that my aligned action is to help others grasp this realization that I've had. And as I said yesterday, imagine a future of work where we can all joyfully thrive instead of surviving because of the paranoia of what the next transition that we might be facing. Thank you.